We'll give Asia servers to go. See what that's like.
Let's move to that location. The memorial is in the Formicae Hills, near an old first wave wreckage. It's makeshift, just like we were, but it's there. Make sure it's all still standing.
Already been fucking searched. Charging? How? Literally. Fuck you. Got any purples for me, buddy? I've got this one too. With all those damn toasters. Wait. You're fucking kidding me.
An arc orbiter is en route. It's closing. 10 minutes to get out of there. I repeat, 10 minutes.
Regroup. There, by the North Complex elevator.
Fucking hate all of it, man.
Hey, we got some new spooky season merch over at eyepatchwolves.com. One of my favorite films of all time. In fact, gun to my head, depending on the day, it might be my favorite film ever. It's like a toss-up between that and like two others. But I think out of all the films in existence, it is the one that showed me what absolute, like, true fear is. And I always remember, I've told this story in videos before, but when I was a little one, and I was at a friend's sleepover and we were watching Twister, there's a moment in that film where on the cinema screen in Twister, before like a tornado like rips it apart, you can see the hallway scene from The Shining, the two twins little girl scene from The Shining, and it scared me so fucking badly that my parents had to take me home. Just that one shot, just that one shot, and my friend being like, oh yeah, that's The Shining, my mom told me about that movie, that started a lifelong fascination with it, and I love it so dearly, and it is like, you know, rightfully celebrated as one of the greatest horror films of all time, and like, it really, really is. I feel like a good way to kind of like categorize like how iconic a horror film is looking at how many like utterly fucking culture destroying moments of terror it has. Like, how many iconic moments of fear does a film have? So say you take something like Scream. I think arguably Scream has two really terrifying moments that still get talked about today. You have like the opening scene at the start, and then you have the reveal of the killer. The Shining has like at least 5. Like, it has room 237, it has the blood elevator, it has the twins, it has the hedge maze, it has the typewriter. Like, the amount those 5 moments have been like parodied and repeated over the years, and they all come from the same fucking movie. And it's kind of a fucking masterpiece, like as close to a masterpiece as horror has. But what's interesting is that it wasn't always received that way. When The Shining came out first, people did not like it at all. Like, and when I've been going through like the old reviews and stuff, and the basic gist is people just had no fucking idea what to make of it. They couldn't like understand it. Horror films were things that were usually like very fast paced. There was a lot of like quick edits and quick cuts, and like there was a kind of semi-action scene where, you know, the killer would come after the protagonist with a knife or whatever. And so much of The Shining was slow. So much of it was just haunting and just these characters existing in these big empty spaces. It's really crazy to go back and see how people just didn't know what to make of that. Like, listen to some of the old reviews here. The supernatural story knows frustratingly little rhyme or reason. Even the film's most startling, horrific images seem overbearing and perhaps even irrelevant. Okay, that's one review. Here's another one. With everything to work with, Kubrick has teamed with jumpy Jack Nicholson to destroy all that was so terrifying about Stephen King's bestseller. This is, okay, Siskel of Siskel and Ebert says, a crashing disappointment. The biggest surprise is that it contains virtually no thrills. Imagine looking at the fucking blood elevator scene and just being like, yep. It's mind-blowing. Given Kubrick's world-class reputation, one's immediate reaction is that maybe he was after something other than thrills in this film. If so, it's hard to figure out what. So yeah, it's fucking crazy. It is so crazy to see people react that way to what is like now a nearly universally beloved horror film. But the biggest critic of all was Stephen King, the writer of the Shining book. And I just want to say here, like, I love Stephen King. I am a huge Stephen King fan. I think arguably, to this day, you would struggle to find a single individual who has affected horror more than Stephen King. And I love his short stories, I love his books. Some of them are garbage, some of them are fucking awesome, but I love Stephen King. He did not love The Shining. I dug out some Stephen King quotes here. I think The Shining is a beautiful film and it looks terrific. And as I've said before, it's like a big, beautiful Cadillac with no engine inside it. In that sense, when it opened, a lot of reviews weren't very favorable, and I was one of those reviews. I kept my mouth shut at the time, but I didn't care for it much. And like, he has talked at length about this stuff. The character of Jack Torrance has no arc in that movie, absolutely no arc at all. When we first see Jack Torrance, he's in the office of Mr. Ullman, the manager of the hotel, and you know then he's crazy as a shithouse rat. All he does is get crazier. In the book, he's a guy who's struggling with his sanity and finally loses it. To me, that's a tragedy. In the movie, there's no tragedy because there's no real change. So the quote that I read, and this, I have never been able to source this quote, and I would love to. It's something it was on the Shining's IMDb page, and it's credited Stephen King. Don't know where it came from. Don't even know if it's real, but it sounds real to me. And it is, he said that The Shining was a film made to hurt people. So basically it had no heart. It was just this cynical, cold nightmare of a film. And he's right, but he's wrong about how valuable that is. But anyway, look, you know, someone can dislike The Shining. It's possible. It's not a big deal. And I could understand someone being in love with the Shining novel could have problems with it. The only problem is that Stephen King himself decided that he was going to remake The Shining in 1997 and created a 3-part television series. And this was called Stephen King's The Shining. I really got to admire the balls of being willing to remake one of the most beloved films at all time, because like by the late 90s, The Shining was beloved. Like it had got its flowers at that point. And the result is one of the fucking silliest films of all time. So this is a film that follows the book much, much more closely. And like, just for the record, the book is terrifying. The book is absolutely horrifying, and I love it. The best way I could describe this movie, it's imagine The Shining if it was a Hallmark holiday movie. That is what it feels like. This movie is so silly and goofy in so many ways, and so many parts that are like visceral and like terrifying about The Shining are just not in this movie. Like the two main actors in it. So originally you had Shelley Duvall and Jack Nicholson, and Shelley Duvall famously like really suffered on the set of The Shining. It was an intense shoot. Kubrick is notoriously demanding and difficult to work with, and he was really, really hard on her. Now, he did get like an incredible performance out of her, but that doesn't necessarily justify the pain she went through on set. But she does give an absolutely phenomenal performance. I think it's impossible to look at Shelley Duvall's face in this movie and not empathize with the terror she is feeling in these scenes. And that is not the case with this other actor. The new actor is like fine. She is this incredibly like beautiful woman, just an absolute knockout, but not necessarily someone who I think is, you know, adept at conveying terror, at least on the level Shelley Duvall did. She's kind of just like her co-host. They're both just kind of hot. Whereas in the original Shining, it's like Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall, they spend a lot of that film looking fucking weird, but it like gives you no comfort. This is a movie without like any place you can rest. It's just a nightmare from the moment it starts. Beyond this, there's so many scenes in this movie where a normal scene happens and then it like ends by panning over to like a door, and then like a ghost closes the door, and it's like, well, maybe a ghost did it. And like, it's so fucking silly. Incidentally, Shelley Duvall won a Golden Raspberry for her role in The Shining, which to this day is just the most fucking out of pocket shit I have ever heard in my life. But yeah, it is a very, very silly movie. One thing, there are some interesting things about this movie, though. Like, I think there are some salvageable things about it. If you like kind of garbagey horror, there is actually some stuff to like here. And part of it is the location. This movie was actually shot in the hotel that inspired Stephen King's The Shining. A place that I have actually been. I took a tour there with my friend Oni, and it was a absolutely delightful time. I actually got kind of shit-faced in the bar of The Shining. The elevation was real high. It's like up in the mountains, and I had like 2 of these absolutely delicious old fashions there, and it was like a room 237 old fashioned or something, and just didn't account for the fact that I was so high up would get me drunk much quicker. And I was really fucked up, and I was getting this tour from the guide, and at one point he kind of walks past me and he looks at me and he goes, "We having a good time there, sir?" And I was like, yes I am. And that was really funny. But that location is cool, and the way it's shot in this movie is like interesting. Like, I love the shots of the hallways, and like there are some parts of it where it kind of touches on like the isolation and the nightmare that these characters are in, you know. But when you compare it with those similar shots, like that, there's one shot from the original Shining, and it's Shelley Duvall. I think she's clutching a baseball bat, walking through the massive open like lounge area, and it's just fucking incredible. You don't get any of that. What you do get is a bunch of weird CGI. There's definitely like some shots in this where they thought it was the late 90s and CGI was scary. There is a ghost like fire hose that attacks Danny with like gnashing teeth, and it's so silly. There's a werewolf man who like jumps out at him, and he's literally like, "Oh, boogie boogie, Danny, I'm gonna get you," and it's so fucking dumb. But I think the peak of it is in the original Shining. There's actually a few parts of The Shining that like don't appear in either version. There's like a spider baby who lives in the playground in the book. But one part that they don't touch on at all is that there's hedge animals, haunted hedge animals in The Shining, and they appear in this film, and they have some of the most garbage CGI you will ever see, and it is a fucking riot. It is so much fun. If you can't tell, I actually kind of love this miniseries. No, it's not anywhere close or good for any of the same reasons as the original Shining. In fact, like all those iconic horror moments I mentioned earlier, the blood elevator, the typewriter scene, the twins, the maze, like 4 out of 5 of the iconic like Shining moments are not in this movie. The only part it does keep is room 237, but it's very different in this version. In this version, you don't really see what happens when Jack goes into room 237. In this version, it's room 217. But you do see what happens when Danny goes in. Danny goes in, and he's the one who has the encounter with the bathtub lady. And look, here's what I'll say. I love making fun of this movie. I think this is an incredibly silly movie. The bathtub lady in this movie is fucking terrifying. She's still really scary. It's probably the only part of this entire miniseries that to me actually feels like a genuine, scary, nasty thing. But this part still really, really creeps me out. It's the makeup on the woman, it's the way the scene is shot, it's the acting of the woman herself. She is really awful, and it is actually the like lone piece of really effective horror in this movie. But yeah, I kind of wanted to talk about it just because I like to revisit this film every October along with the original Shining. If you want to hear me talk more about like the actual Shining and why it's like fucking the greatest horror film of all time, I have a video essay on it over on Super Eye Patch Wolf from way back in the day. We're also going to be talking about it on Versus Wolves this Friday. So yeah, check it out. Both films are absolutely worth experiencing. If I was to rate both on a scale, I would say the original Shining, on my 7-point scale, it gets a 7. It is just a film that completely changed my life for the better, and I love it. The 1997 Stephen King version, you know, I'm gonna give that a 4 because it's a stupid but very cozy horror movie that I really just love to soak in, and it's one of my favorite things to watch with Michelle. And yeah, those are my thoughts on those things. Goodbye.
Every neighbor got their
Now I'm back.
Danny Malin is a content creator who became one of the most beloved food reviewers on the internet. He's gained an incredible amount of success testing and then rating takeaways across the UK. However, over the last few months, the Rate My Takeaway channel has been shrouded in controversy and drama, which ultimately led Danny to walk away from the platform he had built from the ground up.
They are in control and they have always been in control, and they have just basically had me doing the filming, and then they've just controlled everything.
So how did this beloved food review channel get torn apart and lead its hosts to walk away? But first, if you didn't know, I make weekly documentary videos here on this channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel so we can keep this YouTube dream alive. But if YouTube wasn't enough, my videos are now also available on Spotify. So if you can't get enough of me, you can now watch and listen to all of my videos on the go. So make sure to go check all of that out. But anyway, back to the video. Before Rate My Takeaway, Danny worked at Leeds Kirkgate Market as a butcher. In 2020, during the lockdowns of COVID, he was classified as a key worker, so his days were spent delivering meat. It was during this time that Danny made a video making fun of everyone going crazy over toilet rolls in supermarkets. Overnight, this video went viral. This gave Danny incentive to make promotional videos for the butchers that he worked for. Coincidentally, while delivering meat to a shop one day, he met a lad who had seen Danny's videos and told him that he had social media channels and could help Danny reach a much wider audience. Not thinking much of it, he gave it a couple of weeks before giving the guy a call.
And he said to me, they got Rate My Takeaway on Facebook, they got 200,000 followers, and it was just picture content. So they said to me, would you mind doing a video? So I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, we'll buy you a kebab, you eat it, rate it, tell us what you think. And I thought, well, if you're paying, pal, I'm on it. You know, being Yorkshireman, I thought, oh, funny, oh, bang, I'm having some of that. And yeah, we did that, and you know, the cameraman, you know, he was in partnership with him, and we all got together, and we just continued to do it. And then about 8 months later, we put it on YouTube, and bang, it just went viral. And since then, we've just been full steam ahead with it, to be honest.
In November 2020, the first ever video was uploaded to the channel, in which Danny would try a 5,000 calorie takeaway munchie box. And like Danny said, the channel started absolutely flying. The first 3 videos on the channel did a total of 9 million views alone. The camping chair and fold-out table outside of every establishment made it basically impossible not to watch. And ultimately, the videos were about food, but everyone was there for Danny's personality. His strong Yorkshire accent, mixed with his overwhelming enthusiasm, made him extremely entertaining to watch. However, in February 2021, Danny's world would become shattered after his long-term partner suddenly died of a heart attack.
Sadly, my partner, Carrie, loved me like she passed away in February.
Sorry to hear that, mate.
Yeah, so it was pretty tough. So it sort of, you know, it hit me like a steam train, to be honest. And I spent 4 or 5 weeks just not knowing what to do. Obviously, social media stuff, it slowed down. Obviously, I didn't do anything, but it sort of, obviously, people picked up on what were going on. So there were a lot of newspaper articles locally in Leeds and what had happened. And obviously, 3 kids at home. So there's like my 2 youngest, and then Carrie's eldest, who's my stepson. It was just awful. Just out of the blue, awful. And then all of a sudden, after like 4 or 5 weeks, I got a lot of support from people coming round and talking to me for him. And I just decided, you know what, you know, she wouldn't want me to sit and wallow in self-pity, and you know, I've got to do what I can for kids, and I've got to show my kids that, you know, the mum would have wanted us to be happy and live on. To be honest, the YouTube sort of fame, if you like, when it took off, come around that time, like 4 or 5 weeks in, it started to grow then. So it's changed the life for me and the kids, and it's given us something good to focus on. So my kids, when they're seeing me on things like this, radio interviews, in newspapers, they think it's amazing. But it's like my oldest lad and my daughter, when I said I was coming down here for you today, my God, my oldest lad, he was straight on the phone to his mates, look at this. And then when you put it on the other week, his mates were phoning him up, oh, I can't believe it's going on. So like, again, for me, you know, some fat bloke from Leeds eating kebabs being down here, it's quite surreal, but it's helped me out with my kids, and I can't thank people enough.
With this newfound virality helping Danny through a tough period in his life, the Rate My Takeaway platforms continued to grow. So much so, Danny became a silent partner in a burger restaurant in Pudsey. It was announced through a video of him trying the food, but wanting to remain impartial, he didn't give it a rating. But 2022 was a huge year for the brand of Rate My Takeaway, with them even embarking on a summer tour of the United States to review the very best takeaways New York, Vegas and LA had to offer. And by 2024, the channel had well over 700,000 subscribers and amassed over 125 million views. However, in February 2024, Danny's life would change once again after suffering 2 strokes in 2 weeks and was diagnosed with a blood clot on the brain.
I got stuff going off with the channel, I got some personal issues going on, and I was under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and there was just too much going on. And on the day that it happened, I was going outside, I just put some washer fluid in my car, we were going out for a family meal for a birthday. lived here. And as I was walking back in the house, all I remember is just feeling a little bit dizzy. And then the next thing I know, all hell's broken loose, and Sophie's got upset and phoned for an ambulance and all this because I've had a stroke. Obviously, she said that my face went drooped to one side. I didn't know what I was doing, didn't know where I was. So yeah, so I was admitted to hospital. They said they did a few scans, said that I got a blood clot at the side of my head here, which caused me to have a stroke. But me being me, the idiot that I am, I come out of hospital and I had 2 meet and greets booked in for my fans. One at the Trinity in Leeds and one at the Ridings in Wakefield. Trinity were on the Monday, Wakefield were on the Saturday, and the doctor said, just plenty of rest. Lost quite a bit of movement in my left side. So I decided that I could just sit there and just talk to people, not realising the full impact that the stroke had. So I did it on the Monday and I was shattered. Did it on the Saturday again, I was shattered. On the Sunday, went to put something in the microwave and I lost 20 minutes of my life again and had another one. So I was back in hospital. So it was like 2 within space of like 2 weeks. So I was pretty lucky, to be honest.
Despite health concerns, Rate My Takeaway ploughed on and planned even bigger and better things. One of these things was the Rate My Takeaway Kitchen, a food court in a Huddersfield shopping centre that would house independent food vendors. This place was actually a great idea and was maximised for their fans to visit a physical space where the interbreeding of social media and real life could intertwine. However, with the business flourishing like never before, the next year would be shrouded in controversy. Throughout 2025, bubblings of drama were surfacing within the UK food review world. You see, early on in the year, the Food Review Club channel was outed for allegedly getting paid to review restaurants' food, sometimes apparently in the range of £1,500. Now, obviously, if that's the case, ethically, it kind of makes it unclear to your audience what is and isn't an ad. This outrage originally stemmed from a business in Cornwall, who was shocked to find out that the Food Review Club had emailed them saying that it would cost them £750 for a visit, which was 50% off the original price because Matt was in the local area. Oh, how nice of them, just the £750. The owner of the business said, "It does feel like there's a huge injustice and it's a proper insult. I do think the guy is a complete phony." And that's a quote from me that isn't swearing. It's so misleading, and if he's getting paid for it, it should be disclosed. Paid adverts are fine and promotions are great, but this guy makes it so disingenuous. Now, of course, because Matt got caught out for doing paid reviews, it led people to assume that others could be doing the same, which led Danny to speak out about how it may affect the industry and reiterated that he would never do a paid review. This then led to Matt responding to Danny in a video a week later.
Yes, you can book us in to visit a venue, but everything that happens after that point is off the table. What to think, what to order, what to say, what to score it, is completely and utterly down to us. This is something that's very, very important to us. Now, one particular video I want to address now to you guys is Danny from Rate My Takeaway. He has said a few things in that video, some of which are strange, some of which are very untrue and are hugely damaging. What he said about us being neck and neck in the early days, both of us have been doing this a long time, is true. He and his team at Rate My Takeaway blew up overnight on YouTube. And of course I was getting messages from people asking how that felt to see them explode, and my honest answer at the time, always maintained this, after what he went through in his personal life, I said it couldn't have happened to a better team. Our time will come, I'm sure of it, but for now, let them have their flowers. They smashed it. They did a great job and they've got a great product. Our competitive jousting towards them is absolutely not bullying and never has been. There's been times where we have desperately needed a table and chairs. It happens all the time, still to this day. Of course we can't now whip out a table and chair, so we reference it tongue-in-cheek. A bit of competitive sledging, should we say, a bit of banter. I come from a sporting background where that's normal, certainly not bullying. I've never been a bully. I'm a big advocate for sticking up for people. You know this, Danny, firsthand. Yeah, I might be direct and a little bit clear with my words sometimes, but I've got a really big heart and you know that. So this narrative that I'm a pig who's stealing people's money is ridiculous.
Bottom line here is, you were massively jealous of his success, so you decided to start making digs at him. End of story. The James Corden of the food review scene. Rate My Takeaway and Gary Eats is all you need. This dude can jog on. In a podcast interview, Danny addressed the drama and what he really thinks about the ethics behind getting paid to review.
We're doing a review, so I'm going to taste it, I'm going to give my opinion, and then I'm going to rate it out of 10 what I think it's worth out of 10. So therefore, we don't need payment for this, because we knew we'd be getting the ad revenue from Facebook, from TikTok, from YouTube, and we'd earn money like that. Matt from Food Review Club, I've never personally spoken to the guy, never spoken to him. Obviously know he is, because me and Matt, we were level pegging on Facebook. 1 week I'd be in front, 1 week he would. He started 5 or 6 months before me. We'd already got the Facebook page, so that gave us a bit of an advantage. And then he did really well, to be fair. He grew his following way back in the beginning, and I used to watch his content. So, and he did his thing, and I did mine, and we just never sort of crossed paths, never spoke, never did anything. And then obviously somebody outed him in Cornwall for charging for reviews. Now, I knew that he charged because, let's be right, I've been to some places that Matt's been, and I've gone, and they've gone, I've walked in, we walk in with a camera, we're filming, and then they'll go, well, how much do you want? So I turn the camera off, and I go, we don't want nothing. I'm going to pay for the food. Oh, no, we'll give you the food for free. And I insist in paying as well, because, they've got to earn a living. So I'm walking into this small business, or this food business, no matter how big or small it is. And like you said, I'm going to make an impact. It's either going to be good, or it's going to be bad for them, right? It's going to be one or the other.
In July 2025, the trifecta of British food reviewers, Danny, Gary Eats, and Greeno Eats, went down to Padstow in Cornwall to do a review for the Rate My Takeaway channel at Rick Stein's fish and chip shop. However, when the video went up, the comments were filled with abuse.
I'm brilliant friends with Danny, and I have got to tell you that I've done some filming with them in the past, and I probably wouldn't do any filming with the team from Rate My Takeaway again. In fact, I can say I'm not going to do any filming with the team from Rate My Takeaway ever again. I speak to Danny a lot, Danny speaks to me a lot. I went down to Padstow, done a video with Danny on his channel, cameraman, Danny, myself, Greeno, really good friend Greeno, and the video went up. And in the comment section, the abuse was like nothing I've ever seen before, and I do mean ever. Directed towards me, towards Danny's wife, towards Greeno. It was unbelievable. I then contacted the team and I said, look, guys, you're going to have to sort this out. You're going to have to take these bad comments down. They're not good, they're not nice, and they're not pleasant to read. And I'm really lucky on our channel. The community page is absolutely fantastic. Nothing. I got a message back saying, yeah, we'll do something about it. They didn't do anything about it. I'm resting my case. I'm not going to say any more, just disappointed.
On the 28th of August 2025, unbeknownst to viewers at the time, the Rate My Takeaway channel would post its last video on the channel. The video in question was called "This Texas Barbecue Was Insane." In the pinned comment below this video, Rate My Takeaway commented, "All is not what it seems. You need to look through the allegations and see the bigger picture. Me and the cameraman never pushed Danny out or asked him to leave, so this is a big shock to us. We never asked for more money. From the very beginning of our relationship, before Danny's fame, we agreed to split the profits equally, and that never changed. Thank you for understanding and support, sad emoji." On the 5th of September 2025, Danny uploaded a video to his channel that he has with his new partner, called "Why I'm Quitting Rate My Takeaway."
I can't go into too much detail right now, but basically the relationship between myself, the cameraman, and the editor has now become untenable, really. I've always said that, it's three of us, that we split things equally. What I mean by that is obviously the monetary side of things is split equally. I should also be equal within the business, but that's something that, from day one, for whatever reasons, I don't get access to certain things, or, I can't do this. And it's something that we've, between the three of us, that we've battled in and around for years. But due to, my recent health struggles, mainly my mental health, I did a video earlier on in the year, spoke about how I had a stroke, the adverse effect that I had then with mental health, with dealing with different things. Obviously I've suffered with mental health difficulties for the last 4 or 5 years, for all different reasons. But because of the relationship between me and the other two guys, that's deteriorated quite a bit. It's just got to the time where I just need to move on.
Start your own channel, run it your way, we'll be right behind you. The heart of the show was always your personality, not the food, the camera work or the edits. You're the reason people tuned in. That's why I've no doubt the channel's views will drop without you. And equally, any new channel you start will thrive. The subscribers will follow you wherever you go, no question about it. After Danny posted this video and announced his departure from Rate My Takeaway, the channel lost over 22,000 subscribers in the space of a week. After Danny told his side of the story, the Rate My Takeaway channel posted a number of statements trying to address the situation, except one post which was like an essay close to 1,000 words in their community section, which somewhat address the situation. We want to take the time to explain everything properly, because so many of you have supported Rate My Takeaway from the very beginning. From day one, the agreement was simple, and we would handle everything else behind the scenes. The filming, the editing, the uploading, the social media, and the overall growth of the platforms. At first, we uploaded the videos to Facebook, and people really enjoyed them. The videos were too long for that audience, but we weren't starting from scratch. We had already built up a strong following on Twitter long before YouTube, so we tried again there. The breakthrough moment came with the Grandma's Kitchen video. We posted it to Twitter and it went viral. That one clip changed everything. People began flocking to the YouTube channel, and suddenly the project took on a life of its own. And this was never just a work thing. We became good friends with Danny. He often referred to us as family, and for a long time it really felt that way. We laughed together, travelled together, shared meals together, and supported each other. That's why this happening now is so difficult. It doesn't just feel like the end of a working partnership, it also feels like the loss of a friendship we value deeply. Now Danny has chosen to step away, and we respect that choice. We also need to be honest. We've asked him multiple times to film a farewell video so things could be explained properly to the audience, but chose not to, and when we suggested sitting down together in the same room and filming both sides for you all, he refused. We had hope for closure as a team, but sadly it hasn't been possible. We've also been reading all your comments, and we understand how people feel. We know the audience is here for Danny, and we completely respect that. We're not expecting anyone to care about us in the same way, and that's okay. We understand why people see things the way they do, and we don't hold that against anyone. All we ask is that you understand we've never had bad intentions. The truth is, this whole situation has left us feeling a bit lost. And the hardest part is that, because we don't have the confidence to speak on camera ourselves, it probably looks even worse from the outside. That's why we've chosen to write all of this instead. It's the only way we feel that we can be fully honest and clear to you. As for what happens next, we don't know right now. Our main aim here is to simply make sure that the past is understood clearly. At the heart of it, we're just sad it's ended this way. We've poured years into Rate My Takeaway, and it hurts to feel like people might see us in the wrong light. You've written an essay but never addressed the real issues: access, transparency, money, and the van. All this backstory doesn't explain why Danny was locked out or why the basics of running a business weren't in place. Not giving him access to the channel or the ability to remove comments himself is absurd. That's not partnership, that's control. And now it's backfired. A week later, on the 8th of September, Danny posted a 36-minute long video explaining his entire story since the beginning of the channel. But more specifically, he recounted how it was never an issue about money, and that the cameraman and editor wanted to manage Danny as a creator.
So I thought I'd just come on today because obviously since I put that video out, cameraman and editor have put a video out, sent it down, they've put a couple of statements out, edited them, and things are a little bit unclear. Having to come to that decision was a very big thing. Now there's just a couple of points that I want to clarify, okay, just to make very clear, because people are getting a little bit mixed up and assumptions, which is fine. So the money situation within Rate My Takeaway, nobody got greedy, all right? So it's never been an issue. Me stepping away has never been an issue with the money. What it was is, the reason why we did that and we split it 3 ways, I was told I'd be an equal partner within the company, Rate My Takeaway. So when we first went viral, I got made an offer by the 2 lads, and the offer was I could have 50% of the ad revenue, or I could be an equal partner within the company. Obviously, I chose to be an equal partner because I knew that, there's a lot more worth in that. I knew that we'd build something amazing together, which is what we've done. But over the years, what happened was, when we come to this agreement, the guys, cameraman, the editor, I'm going to call them by the name now because obviously, some of you know. So the cameraman is Tom, the editor is Josh. So Tom sort of in charge. He's always been in charge. What they said to me is they wanted to manage me as a creator, all right, so to become my manager. Now we had an issue where we got contacted by Lifted Entertainment. Lifted Entertainment wanted to put a version of Rate My Takeaway or something different on TV. At that point, that's when we started talking about contracts and this and the other. Now I was promised, what Tom said to me was, nobody is filming anymore, nobody is doing anything else on Rate My Takeaway until I sign this management contract. Now the agreement was, they look after me outside of Rate My Takeaway, they manage me as an influencer, they do their very best to make sure that I get jobs those opportunities and create a platform for me. Now what they did is they helped me with a Facebook page, but they have ownership of that. They took ownership of that. Then just concentrated on Rate My Takeaway and nothing else. Lifted Entertainment, sadly, didn't want to work with Tom. This is what the guy said to me. He said he was just wasn't a right fit for them. Now at this time, they were asking me to sign this contract. I was promised a third of the Rate My Takeaway business. I was promised part of Rate My Plate, which is one of their other companies, and that we'd possibly do something on that. So I was promised all this, but I've got to sign this contract first. Just to put it into context, at that time, it was about 9 weeks after my ex-partner had passed away, and I was there with 3 kids at home. I just had a lump of money go into my bank from YouTube, which was phenomenal, which would have been probably 4 to 5 months' wages, what I would have got before. Thinking to myself, what am I going to do? I thought this is going to look after my family. I was highly sedated on antidepressants because of the situation and you know, me thinking what I'm going to do with my kids. Now, I'm not using this as an excuse. I'm just putting into context how I was at the time. So I just went with it. I signed the contract. The thing is, I never got anything from them regarding Rate My Takeaway once I'd done that. I never got access to things.
Danny also addressed his previous goodbye video and explained how after giving in his resignation, within
Welcome. Mind the cables. Those are probably safe. Found an old magazine talking about roller skating. Let me tell you, I've been obsessed ever since. Back again. See, this is why I like you. Smart choices. Clearly, you...
Let's go to the hospital.
Tien Wen here. My drop-off cache is on the outskirts of the city. Look for some warehouses, and you should be able to find it. I've rigged the trap with tracing color, so if it went off, then whoever triggered it should have left plenty of marks behind.
It was too much of a threat to me. out where he is. Is he upstairs or he's on this floor? Fucking scared the shit out of me, you did there.
I would have let you live, man. Why'd you do that?
Oh, you just scared me.
That was a dumb decision, buddy.
It doesn't matter, you can kill me, I'm not too fussed. I didn't have much.
Baby, please, I am begging you. Let me stack donuts on top of it.
What? 3 donuts? 3 pinches donuts? For this little pipi? Nah, mija, nah, bro. Come the fuck down. Come the fuck down, güey. I'm not fucking God, güey. Yo soy el pinche son of God, güey. Nah. 3 donuts, güey. A la verga, mija. Nah. Estás pendeja, güey. No, la tengo chiquita, güey. Si quieres, atragántese, la verga es tuya. But you have to give me your donuts. The one in the back. Ay, chiquito, the pinche black donut, ya. Ay, no.
Have your eyes adjusted to the dark yet, Raider? Loot is ripe for the picking while most of Toledo is asleep, though my suppliers say that Ark is twice as vigilant after sunset.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
No, don't shoot.
Hey, Raider! Hello there! Don't shoot! Hey! Okay. Hello? Hey, hello! Hey! Hey there!
Stupid ball. I don't suppose there's anyone in the hospital that can res me.
Hey, hello!
Hello? I've got 6 people around me and nobody's helping me. Hello?
I'm sorry, bro. I don't have a deep bed.
Do you have a syringe thing?
I got a syringe.
Yeah, the Vita shot might help.
Oh no, I just had regular syringes. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I can't use these on you.
That's okay. Oh.